Hi, I'm Janice Switlo. Today I just want to speak briefly to remind and explain the distinctions between saying you're asserting something and actually using and exercising what you have. A lot of people have simply used language that has been contained in domestic court decisions that the judges have used in order to explain and try to find a foundation to say, well, how is it that the Queen has authority here and therefore as a court bound to accept that Her Majesty's authority is there, whether it is lawfully there or not. How is it we can explain this? Well, the explanation has been, and this is in the Delgamuukw case, that Her Majesty asserted jurisdiction in 1846 in example of BC. Now, when you assert something, you don't actually have it. It's something that you want to get. So the Crown doesn't have sovereignty, has no permissions to exercise partial political sovereignty as she has obtained elsewhere through treaties. Has not been any capitulations. There's been no final land claims agreements, settlement agreements done in the vast majority of British Columbia, for example. So she says, well, the court says, well, okay, she's asserting it. And so the idea is that through her assertions and through her governments, and remember, you know, her governments are acting, okay? There's a distinction, and this is why I call Canada an outlaw nation, between what is supposed to be done, what binds Her Majesty, constitutional monarch, and what her governments are doing. Her governments don't like what's been put in place. They want something different, so they're an outlaw nation trying to achieve their ends, and by whatever means possible, including unconstitutionally changing the Constitution of Canada. Again, that's another episode that I've already filmed. So, again, this is something that has been used by domestic courts to explain how it is Her Majesty's here. She's asserting, if her governments assert this long enough and hard enough, the idea is to get Indigenous nationals to abandon and give up what they have. As soon as they do that, the Crown lawfully can pick up what they give up under the doctrine of res nullius, which is another episode I've already released. As opposed to, so for instance, a lot of people in media regarding, for instance, the Wet'suwet'en situation have said, oh, they're asserting. No, they're exercising and using. They're quoting their law. They're acting under their law. They're using it. They're not asserting their law. They're using it and exercising it. So anyone trying to speak for them, be clear about that. They are acting in accordance with their laws. They are not asserting their laws. They are also not asserting Aboriginal rights under a Section 35 doctrine. To say so and to do so is to say, I don't have sovereignty, I don't have laws, I don't have my own laws. The only thing that applies to me is Canadian domestic law. So that's incorrect. So I really want to emphasize, especially when there's so much discussion about what is going on, that careful what you use. You cannot just parrot what's been said in court cases. You need to, your lawyers, whomever's advising you, needs to understand the distinctions. You can't just copy and say, oh, that's us. The situation's completely different. You're here first, you own, you're sovereign, you never gave that up. You've got the Crown trying to, through its governments, trying to assert, because you're beasts of the field and the doctrine of discovery, you weren't capable of owning this land and controlling this land, so therefore we assert that we have the ability to do so. So don't mimic and copy how Canadian courts have tried to explain what's going on here. The fact is, as BC Court recently recognized, there's Wet'suwet'en law. It's not justiciable in domestic courts, which means that's the law of a nation to which international law applies. Thank you.